All right. I want to share my personal story with you regarding high blood pressure and panic. And I'm sharing it with you because I really believe each one teach one. We can empower other people through our stories. And if you have a story that you think is helpful, share it. I've been dealing with this for the past 2 years. And here's what happened. Here's what I've been doing about it. I'm also going to share with you some lessons learned. And as I tell you this, I want you to know this. You are intuitive. No one knows you like you do. People can say they know you, but deep down inside, you know the answers. And here's my story. And this is as it relates to high blood pressure, anxiety or panic attacks or what have you. So 2 years ago, I had a dental procedure and whatever they gave me didn't react well with my body. And that was that. I just had a not a good experience with the anesthesia or what have you. And so that wore off eventually. But the next time I went to the dentist, I went to a different dentist, but I was a little uncomfortable because I knew they were going to take x-rays. And in my mind, I was saying, sheesh, if they have to take x-rays, if they find a cavity, then I don't want to have to go through that procedure again. I'm just a little bit anxious. It was in my own brain. No one could see it. I didn't say it to anyone. So I went to the dentist and they were going to clean my teeth and they put the blood pressure cup on me. And the nurse stopped and she says, wait a minute, your blood pressure's high. So I'm like, what? Why would I have high blood pressure? So she did it again. She was like, oh, yeah, no, you go to the doctor or something because your blood pressure it's so high that we can't clean your teeth. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, what? I'm dying. Like my blood pressure is so high that you can't clean my teeth. Like how high is it? So she checked it again and it kept going higher and higher and higher. So at this point, I am upset and I'm sure of it. I can feel my body just like, am, am I gonna die? What's going on? Some kind of it was almost like an irrational fear going on. I was very upset. I really couldn't calm down. And she's like, I think you might need to go to the ER. And I'm like, I wanted to cuss, like, what is happening? How is it that my blood pressure is so high that you're telling me you can't clean my teeth? You're telling me it's an emergency. I need to go to the ER. Like I walked in here fine. So I left and she says, well, keep checking it at home. And if it gets over 200, then you need to go to the ER. And surely enough, I think it was the next day. So that whole day or the whole evening, I was just anxious and upset and just almost felt like I was hyperventilating. So the next day, the blood pressure got over to 200, and I'm none the wiser at this point. And just so you'll know, if you're following me, I am a nutritionist. I help people use food and nutrition to build their bodies. So the fact that something was going on in my body was upsetting me. It was just really upsetting because, again, I'm thinking, why is my blood pressure high? I went to the ER, and this was during COVID. And every doctor came in, they're like, "Oh, shit, your blood pressure is really high. Like, we gotta give you something to get it down. You need medication." And then the lady was saying, "You have to eat better and exercise." And in my mind, I'm like, I wanna cuss. Shut the fuck up. Like, I eat health. Like, I all they kept saying was whatever the textbook told them to say. And I was like, "Y'all don't even know me. Like, what?" So I'm still in a panic, still don't know why this is happening. I sat in some room for a while. They calmed me down. It got lower, but still high, but low enough for me to go home. But they're like, you go home, but you need to take care of this because you have high blood pressure and you need medication. They're like, you need medication. That's what happens with people with high blood pressure. You need medication. And I just felt like, wow, you're including that I have high blood pressure. And so anyways, I went home and they told me take the blood pressure daily. Every time I would put that cup on my arm at home, I was very upset. I could hear my heart, boom, boom, just thumping. I could not control my body. Every time I thought about my blood pressure, every time I thought about the blood pressure, huh, I just couldn't get it together. And one of my good friends, She's been through panic and very knowledgeable. And she says, I don't think you have high blood pressure. I think you're really having autonomic response or a panic response. And now when you're checking your blood pressure, you're upset, which made sense because my pulse was really high. So my pulse was high, my blood pressure was high. Okay. So I just decided, you know what? I'm going to just leave this alone. I'm going to stop checking my blood pressure because it's clearly an issue. I just left it alone for a while, calmed myself down, went on about my business. Then I had to go 6 months later for another dental checkup. Went in there and I could feel my body being anxious. And they checked my blood pressure and they're like, oh, God, it's high. And this was my primary doctor. And she's, you need to be on medication. You need to eat better. You need to watch your sodium. And I'm thinking, this doesn't make sense to me. But for the fact that I have white coat syndrome. The doctor was like, well, wait, I've never seen a white coat syndrome this bad. Like your blood pressure is almost over 200 and that's abnormal. So for a while, they kept telling me that they need to medicate me. They either want to put me on blood pressure medication or anxiety medication. But it was kind of like, you need one of those because you're in danger. And I just, I felt very upset, but I just couldn't accept that. I need to know that I have high blood pressure, really high blood pressure, before you try to put me on a medication. I need to know that that's true. And what I deduced is you can't find out if it's true because I'm always panicking. One time I was at the dentist office and they put the cup on me or they did something and I didn't know that they put it around my wrist. It was a silent and they popped my blood pressure at 117 over 79. So I'm like, okay, if I'm not panicking, obviously, then my blood pressure is fine, I think. But I'm seem like I'm always panicking, so I couldn't get it down. So I've been dealing with that white coat syndrome or whatever, and just really, really anxious. So now, whenever I go to any doctor, my brain just goes off. Here's what I've learned over the past 2 years. There is a silver lining because my body, my adrenal glands, my hormones are different, changing. I've finally gotten my hormones checked and it's confirmed. But with the estrogen gone and the adrenals doing things and the cortisol, my body is just not as resilient as it used to be. So I used to could have these thoughts and then my body would calm itself down and then all was well. But now the new me, the menopausal, perimenopausal me is not as resilient and my body just doesn't calm down the rush and it shows up in the blood pressure. So this has been 2 years and intuitively I'm like feeling like I don't have high blood pressure, but I got to figure out a way to prove that to myself. And I decided after all these years to get a monitor, a 24-hour monitor. I changed doctors and again, same thing, blood pressure high. And the new doctor said, okay, I see that there's a issue. And what we're going to do, we're going to check your organs and make sure that if this is a chronic blood pressure issue, we want to make sure that your kidneys aren't damaged and there's no issues going on. So they did that. And you're like, you're healthy. All your biomarkers, everything is good, but this blood pressure is 173 over something terrible. And then my mother, I love her, but she's like, you might have high blood pressure because your dad, it runs in your family. And I would tell you that could be true. It runs in our family because our family does not do well by their body. Their lifestyle causes the issues. And why I eat well and do what I do is because I don't want those things. I felt a little almost shame in a sense of what I'm doing all of the things. So why would I have this? But intuitively, I didn't feel like I had high blood pressure. I felt like I had panic, but I needed to confirm that to myself because if my blood pressure is high, then I need to deal with that and figure out why. Anywho, finally got a monitor, y'all. After 2 years, I got a 24-hour monitor such that I do not know when it's taking my blood pressure. It's probably taking it down. I'm probably a little anxious by talking about it, but with a 24-hour monitor, and it takes my heart rate and it takes my blood pressure. And the first time I put the monitor on, because I was aware of it, the blood pressure was higher. But after wearing it for a couple of days and just forgetting about it, I finally saw my blood pressure historically regular, 120 over 80 and some variation of that. And I just felt relieved. The panic still happens. With that, though, I take adaptogen herbs. I do a lot of different things. This is one of my essential oils. I am doing meditating. I'm doing a lot of things to calm this body down. But what I do know is that I do not have high blood pressure, nothing chronic. It is white coat syndrome. It is a response to fear that I've developed because of the dental procedure and then the doctors and all of the reactions. My brain just went haywire, but I do not have high blood pressure. So that I'm happy about, but I'm still dealing with the angst and the panic to get my body to calm down. And I am working with an OBGYN integrative hormone specialist just to see what we need to do. If I wouldn't have been me, they would have convinced me that I needed medication. And once you get on the medication train, that opens up a whole Pandora's box, if you will. And I would say to you all, medication is necessary. So I'm not anti-medication, but blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication, medication for diabetes, those three, a lot of it is lifestyle related. I felt almost too like, okay, well, you're Black, you're this age, you have high blood pressure. Like it was just expected. And they just looked at me like, oh, of course you have blood pressure. I mean, you fit all the things. Don't let somebody tell you who you are and advocate for yourself. And if you can avoid medication, do all the things that you can do to do that. I feel happy. I have my monitor. Eating well is imperative. It is the step one. There's two other pieces to this puzzle. One of them is getting your hormones checked, your testosterone, your estrogen, your progesterone, your cortisol, your thyroid, your adrenals. Like we got to know what's going on in there because when you get to that perimenopause, menopause, after menopause, your shit just starts going haywire. Even if you eat well. Now, that's the thing. If you don't eat well, the haywire could be worse. The food helps, but it could take you so far. When you get your hormones checked, at least you can know what you're dealing with so that you can say, oh, okay, I'm high here at this time. And there's things that you can do. And some of it is just herbal, but it's a journey. The other thing that I'm learning when I got my hormones checked, I also had a GI map done for my gut because the gut, what's happening in there, if there's bacteria, if there's yeast, if there's overgrowth, we could create these other symptoms. And everything in our body is working together. The body is so intelligent and so intricate, but there's so much we have to do to heal it. I found out through the GI map that I have some bacteria in there because why wouldn't I? I'm living in this world. So right now I'm working to get that out to help just pretty up my gut microbiome. I'm always going to tell you to eat as many leafy greens and seeds and beans as you can, drink water, do all the things, but don't let nobody put you on medication. Don't take that easy route unless you know doggone well there's no other way and there's no other reason. That's the thing, because there's a reason. If you have a high blood pressure, if you have a thing, the answer is not the medication. The answer is what's causing the thing. So for me, the thing was anxiousness. And what was causing it was my hormones in my body going haywire, not my mind doing what, because I'm logical, because I want to tell my mind, stop it. Like, get a hold of yourself. But they weren't working together. Just be an advocate for yourself. There's work to do with this body you have, but it is yours. It is a blessing, and it's always trying to tell you something. This is Robin, Necessary Nutrition. I do not have high blood pressure. I gotta say that. I am on my watch. But it's been 2 uncomfortable years, I would say. All right, down below this video, depending on where you're watching it, I've put some other details in there that maybe of use to you. Peace and blessings. Take care. Bye.